What's up, everybody? It's your boy, Mr. J. here. We're back for another episode of In the Black Court. It's me. I'm back with my homie, my man, my brother, Attorney Ken Harris. What's good, man?
Man, what a week, man. What a week, man. Up and down. Good Lord is blessing us. Hello to my beautiful wife, Felicia, Christian, Sydney, the fam, Kayla, Melvin, all y'all.
Everybody doing good?
Everybody doing good, man. What about with your family, man?
Man, definitely doing well. You know, Crystal and I made it through the Duke game. Shout out to my son, Lil J, man. He's doing great, man. He just got a great report card, man. He's doing his thing.
Man, it's been an interesting week already, man. But this is going to be a good show, man.
Yeah, you got a couple things that you've been trying to executive produce the show about and everything, man. You always trying to find something for us to argue about. So what you want to do this week?
I don't know, but I looked at my contract. I didn't see my EP credit in there. So we're going to be doing some new paperwork this week on In the Black Court. But no, man, it's exciting stuff, man. You know, of course, we're going to have to talk about this new Supreme Court justice that we have as of today. This is breaking news.
Breaking news
The
today.
Senate has spoken, so we're going to dig into that a little bit. And then tonight, we're going to do something very special for you all. And I'm excited about this. Who is the greatest black athlete of all time? That's what we're going to dig into. We're going to figure this out tonight. I got mine. And I know you have yours.
Okay. What you mean is the greatest black athlete of all time? Like, is this who was the most talented, made the most money, won the most championships? Like, what do you mean?
You getting all deep and all that, man. That's not what it's about, man. This is a matter of the heart. This show tonight is about what's in your heart.
Oh, okay.
So when you're selecting the greatest of all time, it's coming from way deep down in here.
Okay.
Not
from
up
your,
here.
From your loins.
From
okay. All right, man. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Biblical ones. Yeah, from your loins, man. Yeah, so we're going to do that, man. Yeah, boy, you something else.
Oh, what's the third thing we talking about? Is that it?
Hey, man, but we're going to start off with another matter of the heart.
Okay.
And y'all know what I'm talking about. Now, we're going to get real serious now.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all know, man, I want y'all to show some gratitude, some praise, and get hyped about what those UNC Tarheels did this year.
Oh, yeah.
Congratulations to the Heels on an absolutely fantastic season.
Yeah, it was a fantastic season, man. But it's been real. Yeah, man. Listen, man. I haven't been on social media since like midday Monday. Like all of the emotion and hype going into that game, man. Coming off the heels of the beating Duke. I just, man, you know how it is the day after you lose a game, and it's a meaningful game, like a championship game, or you lose a Final Four game, or if it's NBA Finals. I just completely ignored the internet that next day, and so I just got back on social media today, man.
UNC equals Will Smith. Duke equals Chris Rock. We smacked them down twice. Smacked them down in Cameron.
Mm-hmm.
And y'all can send me all the messages you want, the text messages. I'm tired of getting y'all emails and text messages. You can call me on the cell all you want. If you're a Duke fan, there is nothing, and I mean absolutely nothing, you can do to take away what we did to y'all in Cameron, and then we turn around and did it to you again in the Final Four. Nothing you can say, dude. Quit calling me talking about you glad Kansas won. That ain't what it's all about, and it will never be about that. You will never be able to wipe away what happened to y'all this year in basketball.
Yeah, man. I've been talking about this, man. I had a wonderful time when I went to go see the Carolina Tar Heels play against Syracuse in the last home game at the Dean Smith Center. And so since then, man, it seems like they just went on a hot streak, and they carried that momentum from that game, beating Coach Jim Boeheim, his son on the team, all of them. I don't know what his son name. He had a little Skipper or something like that, his name. But anyway, they beat them, went into Cameron Indoor Stadium. Man, they had everybody grandmama and everybody out there that ever went to Duke and had all this stuff on the floor and everything, and they still got waxed by Carolina. And I just thought, man, if they don't do another thing this year, that was enough for me.
Man, I was like so happy about that. And then the tournament came around. I saw the brackets. Didn't pay attention to it at the beginning. Like, you know, you get something that's innocent. So I looked at the brackets, didn't really pay any attention to it. But boys, them games kept going on. I was like, oh no. They might meet each other in the Final Four. And there was only one thing. You remember in Avengers, I think it's Endgame or whatever it was. Infinity War. That when Doctor Strange did like that and he raised his finger and he said there was only one way that Duke would be able to get us back. And that's if we met in the Final Four.
That was out of 4 million ways.
Yeah, that was out of 4 million ways. And sure enough, man, as we got closer and closer, I started saying, I can't believe this is going to happen. And it did. We're playing Duke in the Final Four. Mm-hmm. And every Duke fan I knew was like, it was meant to be.
Yeah.
We're now going to be able to get our revenge. And not only get our revenge in the Final Four, we're going to win the national championship. And we're going to rub it all the way in. And that win by Carolina in Cameron was going to be forgotten. And they were probably right. If it had happened that way, they would have been right.
It's interesting, man, because, you know, I'm real superstitious. I know that you're superstitious as well, especially when it comes to Carolina. I know a lot of Carolina fans are superstitious. And this was the last scenario that you wanted to happen. That they would be like, you know what? If we had to lose to them at Cameron, you know what? The way we can make it right is to face them in the Final Four in his last game, well, almost his last game. Like you said, go win the championship, but beat Carolina. We can make it up to him. And I just couldn't believe, man, they've never played, in the NCAA?
At all.
So, I just was like, how could this be that this happens? His last year, you mean to tell me out of 42 years, they ain't never played each other and it got to happen this time?
Man, it was incredible, man. And the game was incredible. It was, to me, the most exciting game in NCAA basketball history other than the Magic Bird game. It had hype beyond hype. Mm-hmm. And it was made even more so by Coach K's, it being Coach K's last game. Mm-hmm. So for us to beat them in that game, oh no. Man, I'm taking them 2 victories. I'm taking them home and put them in a lockbox or something. And every time a Duke fan says UN, they ain't got to say UNC. Just say U. I'm going to open that lockbox up and pull both them victories out. Just lay them on. I don't have to say nothing now. There's nothing they can do to take away those 2 victories from Carolina.
Never. There's nothing that they can do. There's no argument you can ever win again in life. just you know what? Enjoy your games. Enjoy who else you play. You can never have this argument with us ever again. And man, I like I said, that first game that they won at Cameron Indoor, I was like, you know what? That wasn't even in the playoffs, but I'm happy with that. The fact that, I was good too, man. If Carolina got bounced out of the tournament in the second round, I was okay with that. But man, lo and behold, bro, they beat Baylor. They beat UCLA. They beat St. Peter's. I was scared. I was like, who are these dudes? I'm
they just beat Kentucky.
Yeah. So I was just like, man, oh no. I can't believe that they're about to play Duke. Man, and he did it. And they beat them again. Now, and let me say this. There was a lot of emotion. A lot of people, man, I listened to Sports Talk Radio. Man, all they did is talk about how this is the biggest game in Carolina and Duke history. And I know those kids heard a lot about that. And, I think it took a lot out of them to play that game and the pressure of it. And I know that was a lot to turn around in 48 hours to play a championship. 2
things that I visualized. One is when we beat Duke in the Final Four. You remember Vince Carter when he won the dunk contest? He said, it's over. Mm-hmm. That's how I felt. Like the Duke-Carolina rivalry is over. Coach K in his career finished 50-50 because of that game. with the Tar Heels. It's like you couldn't make this up, man. You could not make this up. But the other image I remember, and I want everybody to go back and freeze frame this when you go look at the game.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the Duke Carolina Final Four game, freeze frame it for those few seconds after the buzzer went off with R.J. Davis and Leaky Black.
Okay.
And they ran from one side of the court to the other doing like this. Carolina.
Yeah.
You know. But it looked like a national championship celebration. And it's because that game was so charged, it was like a national championship. The reason why I want people to go back and look at that is because it is hard after you expend that emotion, where you feel like you just won the national championship, to go back and play the national championship. They expended a lot of emotional energy. So I'm going to tell y'all this. I know I'm talking a lot on the podcast tonight.
Good, bro.
Carolina was the best team in the country this year, and nobody knew it. Why? Brady Manick, Armando Bacot, and Caleb Love are NBA players, but nobody knew it.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you play them, it's like, wait a minute, how these guys are actually real good. Now, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Nobody gave them credit for being that. I don't even think they knew that they were that themselves.
Yeah.
They should have beaten Kansas. And this ain't sour grapes. They were up by 15 or 16.
Yeah, we got to talk about the Kansas game, man.
Okay.
No, I want you to finish. I just want to make sure that we spend a lot of time, we give a lot of flowers to them for a wonderful season. But we do, out of respect, we got to talk about the Kansas game.
Yeah. I mean, I'm starting there because I think they were at a real disadvantage. They only play 5 or 6 players typically.
Mm-hmm.
So when you expend that type of energy and emotion, and then you got to turn around and play again, and you're only playing 5 or 6 players, and you got Puff Johnson, the 6th one, run up and down the court throwing up because he's not used to it. It was just too much to expect them to. I don't know how they lost only by 3. It's really, I don't know. It's really amazing what they did. I mean, yeah.
All right, so I've given flowers. Now it's time for a little bit of smoke. Let's keep it 100. Keep it a band that's in the black court. All right, number one, as a fan, I never went into this game, the championship game against Kansas, believing that Carolina was, I didn't expect them to win. I hoped that they would win. I didn't expect them to win. And coming out there, if you watch Kansas play this year, or you saw them in that Final Four game against Villanova, and even Villanova got some big brothers. Man, they look like
a pro team.
They look like a pro team, man. And I was just like, yo, these are some big dudes, man. And Carolina jumps out to a 15-point lead. Now, Ken, I'm going to tell you this, bro. Hubert Davis did an excellent job, LG, in his first year as head coach. But I think he got a little bit of Roy Williams in him. He sat on the bench with Roy Williams about, 7 or 8 years or something like that. Bro, there's no way in the world. I looked at the clock. It was 14:40 left in the second half, and Kansas had obliterated a 15-point lead. Now, what happened? When they came, the second half started, Kansas throws an alley-oop, wide open dunk. Boom. Carolina comes back down. Either they miss a shot or a turnover. Kansas comes right back down. My man Braun or somebody like one of them white boys or light-skinned dude hits a 3. It's time to hit a timeout. What did Hubert do? No, let him play. Dog, by the time he called a timeout, it was like 7 or 8 point lead. It was cut in half. Mm-hmm. And you have to get to at least under 10 minutes, dog, to try to milk a little bit of this. Like you gotta this Ken. There's no excuse for him to blow a 15-point lead like that. I'm sorry.
And I'm not gonna disagree with that. But then after that, because then that's when you think a team will collapse. They didn't collapse. They got down, they hung in there, got down again, came back. it was really an amazing year. They were better physically than people thought. And they were also a better team than people thought. And Hubert, except for what you're talking about, was a better coach than what people thought. So they still almost won the game. And if Caleb had been Caleb, they would have won the game. I mean, he was, 5 for 24 or something like that. Some incredibly terrible night. And R.J. Davis wasn't too much better. I think they just ran out of steam. And the one thing I thought, kind of going in line with what you're saying about not calling the timeout, one thing Hubert could have done was play a lot of reserves at the beginning of the second half. But how do you know that your guys don't have much left in the tank? That's kind of you got to be able to feel that, and I'm not saying you can always feel that, but I think that if Carolina had the same energy and stamina in the second half that they had certainly in the first half, I think we would have had a different outcome. But man, that's asking a lot to play that Duke Carolina game and then somehow have enough at the end against that big, gigantic, athletic Kansas team at the end. That's asking a lot, I think. Yeah.
We spend a lot of time on Carolina. This is my last thing I'll say on this. Yeah. You sidestepped that Hubert Davis smoke. Well, I'm gonna let you cool.
No, I think you're right on that.
All right, cool. And then the other thing is because, man, you're right. They were still in the game. They had a chance to tie it up at the end of the game. They only lost for about 3 points, I believe. So it's not like they weren't, they got blown out in the second half. But I'm just saying it is inexcusable to have a 15-point lead and let it be like obliterated in 5 minutes. That is unacceptable. And Roy Williams was notorious for not calling timeouts. And by the time he called a timeout, it was like a 7 or 6 point lead. Anyway, the last thing I'll say is this. I knew it was a problem. I knew it was over. I saw people throwing up on the floor and people getting elbowed in the head and poked in the eye. And Caleb Loves, he turns his ankle inexplicably by himself. I said, you know what? I've seen this movie before. You know what I mean? It's not our night. It's all good.
I mean, it's just a lot. Baycott was hurt.
Baycott
was hurt. I'm sorry.
And then he hurt it again.
Manic got hit in the head twice, got knocked out twice, and they revived him, and he came back to play. It was just too much to overcome, man. So Heels, I gotta give you props, man. I'm so proud of my Tar Heels, man. We had a great year, man. But I'm putting that stuff on Duke in the pocket. Yeah. And every time somebody from Duke come up to me, I'm pulling it out, and I'm getting them up off of me, Jay.
All right, man. We gotta quit sounding like homers. All right. Okay. So justice time, right?
What?
Congratulations to Justice.
Boy.
Ketanji Brown-Jackson. Congratulations, my sister. Man, Ken, I was watching CNN. I wanted to see that vote live, brother.
Yeah.
And so I saw it, man. And it was a beautiful thing to see, her get voted in. Just going through every single, senator giving their vote.
Roll call.
Yeah, roll call. And then seeing a picture of her and President Biden together watching the vote as it happened. Man, President Biden looks 189 years old, brother. He is getting older by the day, but shout out to him. I love you, President Biden. So that was beautiful to see. You're an attorney. And so I did want to ask, what does this mean as a Black woman becoming a Supreme Court justice? Period. What does this mean?
It means everything and nothing at the same time.
Wow.
Because I do not think it's going to create a new dynamic and change the conservative tilt of the Supreme Court. There are just too many conservative justices on the Supreme Court. But it just means everything in terms of having a voice for the African American community. And Clarence Thomas is there. Look, this is in the Black court. We're under no illusions. I think even his wife is being, there's some question about his wife in January 6th, the January 6th panel.
She was up there,
in terms of some of the communication she made with some people. So nobody's going to argue that he's some, a Black justice that's, there to defend the Black cause. But now I think we do have someone on the Supreme Court who will add to the balance of the court to make sure that that voice is heard. And I'm so proud of her, and I'm so proud to have people like her representing the African American community, people who are accomplished and articulate, who are dedicated and focused. It just makes you proud. When you saw her testimony during the Senate confirmation hearings, it made you proud then. She's just really somebody special, and all African Americans can look up to her. But man, I really love what it's going to do relative to African American women, and very similar to what Vice President Harris is doing.
Yeah, from what public?
By the way, she was presiding over the vote today.
Yeah.
Vice President. So it was just a great moment. Man.
She was ready for some smoke too. She like, y'all can tag me in if you want now. Yeah. But I did want to say, man, 1967, Justice Thurgood Marshall.
Yes, sir.
3. Yeah, and then in 1991, Justice Thomas, as you just mentioned, and now 2022, Justice Ketanji Brown-Jackson.
And we didn't have to go through no hair on the coat thing. Anything.
Yeah, no. We had to go through some indignant.
Yeah.
See, is that a word? Like we had to go through. She had to be humiliated, in my opinion, before this would happen, which was unfortunate. And I got something I want to say about that, but I want to let you.
She carried herself with class and dignity through the whole process, no matter what they threw at her. So what a shining example. But let you say that, and then I got something to ask our listeners.
Okay, so check this, and I've said this before on the podcast, and I'm going to continue to reiterate this stuff. So, man, after this beautiful scene, beautiful pictures of President Biden and Ketanji Brown-Jackson, Justice Ketanji Brown-Jackson, hugging and looking at the final vote. You got Democrats, they're standing ovation, giving her a standing ovation, and 44 Republicans, they couldn't even wait 2 minutes after they had made it official. They all got up and walked out, completely disrespecting this historical moment. And then you also had, reports of Senator Lindsey Graham. He ain't out on the right tie. You know what I'm saying? I don't know where he was at. You know what I mean? Like, all right, I'm just going up here and vote right quick. So he had to vote in another room. You had, Senator, what's his name? Rand Paul, which one is? I'm sorry, Rand Paul. Apparently he still had on his airport clothes. And so he came in last minute. They waited on him. And it's just this continuous disrespect through this political process. And I'm going to reiterate, I understand class, dignity, grace, but when Democrats have the opportunity, like they were in position today, like to do whatever it was going to take to try to get her in and have her as justice, we have to continue to do that, or they have to continue to do that.
Well, I like it because we continue to be classy, and it happened. It worked out, and you had 3 Republicans who actually voted for the confirmation.
Yeah, I know Mitt Romney was one of them.
And Mitt Romney, to me, I really, really like, because he's kind of like John McCain, Senator McCain. When the chips are down, he's focused on doing what's right, not what's political. So I'm just happy that she carried herself the way she did. The Democrats carried themselves the way they did. But I got a real issue here as well. Okay. Now, President Biden has now brought to us an African American female vice president.
Yep.
And an African American female Supreme Court justice.
That's for sure right on in the name, in the words of Spice Adams.
Spice. Hey, look, man, I said it on one of the earlier shows, and I'm going to say it again. Isn't it time that we give, I almost said the brother, but isn't it time that we give President Biden some credit? I'm not talking about a pass. I'm talking about credit
Pass.
for what he's doing. I mean, these are important dynamics. These are first. These are things that should be enduring in our community. And I'm just saying that I am appreciative of him living up to his word, which he gave us before the election, that he would be focused on gender equality and racial equality, and he would advance the cause of Black American females. And I think he's lived up to that, and I really appreciate it. There was no mandate that he select a African American female vice president or an African American female Supreme Court justice. So I do think at some point again, and I've had this beef relative to how we treat President Obama, that we give some respect to President Biden, not a pass, but some respect for what he's doing and what he's accomplished in terms of placing or trusting and being involved with making sure that we had African American females who move into their rightful positions in the administration or in the judicial system.
I think he's on the right track. I think that, of course, he should be applauded and shown a level of respect and all of those things for of course, selecting a Black woman as vice president. Ketanji Jackson, or Justice Brown-Jackson. I got to get used to saying that. He definitely, that's awesome as well. I think what people are looking for is this to happen every year throughout his administration. I think you're right. He's done a great job, and we should be appreciative of what he's done so far. I do believe that. And I think there's a lot of people that are posting Justice Brown-Jackson on their Instagram feed and clapping and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, girl, you in there.
And they should, because you mentioned he should do this every day. From here on out, she'll be a Supreme Court justice every day.
Yeah.
The vice president is the vice president every day. And so I just think that we have to be cognizant of the things that are done. That doesn't mean he's done everything he's supposed to do. I'm just saying show some appreciation for what he's accomplished for real. Now, if he fronting on something, then let's just say he fronting. But he wasn't fronting on this. She is a Supreme Court justice. So I just think we need to, we struggle sometimes. And I know I'm wrong. Everybody, y'all probably go off on me and all that good stuff. But what did Trump do? I got all these friends that come up, yeah, I voted for Trump. What did Trump do? Did Trump have a Black female vice president? I must be missing something. He had, how many judges did Trump? Trump nominated 8,000 judges while he was president.
For sure.
Okay. What I'm talking about, I'm living in one of them, what's it, multiverse?
Yeah.
I'm living in the multiverse, right? What did Donald Trump do for the African American community that makes us so...
My dog say he having a middle experience right now.
There must be some alternate universe where he appointed a whole bunch of Black folks to the judiciary and had a Black vice president and Blacks in his administration. And I'm missing it sometimes when it comes to that dynamic. I'm not putting Donald Trump down. I'm just saying somebody needs to educate me on what all Donald Trump did so great to advance the African American community, because evidently I missed it while I was over in the multiverse.
Well, I won't say that I would educate you because I can't do that. But what I would say is that some people would say, well, I'm going to say this part. That's cap on the part about Vice President. What's her last name? I forgot. I don't see her that much. What's her name? What's the vice president?
Harris?
Yeah, Kamala
That's my
Harris.
last name. You can't forget that.
I'm just saying, we don't see her that much, but shout out to her. I'm just saying.
Saw her today, didn't you?
Yeah, we saw her today.
Okay, all right.
The fact that she's the vice president every day, and because that Justice Brown-Jackson, she's going to be a Supreme Court justice every day, that is representation, and that is beautiful, but that's not legislation. And so that is the other part that people want to see. They want to see legislation put in place. More representation is awesome, but we want to see legislation on behalf of Democrats, on behalf of diverse people, on behalf of underserved people, that is going to help move things forward in that regard. So I'm just saying, when you say, hey, look what he's done, but it's all, some would argue it's always something where, what I'm saying, like the record label gave you a brand new car. You know what I'm saying? Woo, I got a brand new car, but your contract looked different. So I'm just saying that if you want to have that discussion, that is why people feel that way.
Well, I guess the question becomes, does everyone understand how legislation is made? Because if you're talking about whether or not legislation advances that favors the African American community, we know what happens to that type of legislation is that the Republicans control half the Senate. And so the president isn't engaged or involved in that. He signs the legislation that makes it to his desk. But, you got to remember that, and I know I'm not talking about you, I'm just in general, we have to remember who makes legislation. That's why it's so important to control the Senate or to control the House, because that is where legislation is generated. And right now, there's no real control of the Senate for Democrats. So every time Biden says, let's do this for the community or those who are less fortunate, or let's put this bill out here for infrastructure, or put this bill out here so people can have jobs, he's getting told no, because he's not the one he can't approve legislation by himself. That legislation dies. And so, again, all I'm saying is, as long as we give him props for what he does, I'm good, and I'm not asking for anything more than that, because you're right, I'm sure he could do more, but just give him props for what he does, and I think I'd be satisfied.
I give him props. I'm sorry, were you finished?
Yeah.
I'll give him props. I think he does have the ability to write executive orders. So there's always the stroke of the pen that he can utilize to get things going, or at least do some things in a certain way, to be aggressive in that way. And then there was something else I was going to say, but I'm going to leave it there. I think that he's done a great job. He's doing a great job. It's year, we're in year 2 now. There was an article about, listen, I could go on and on about President Biden. Shout out President Biden. Good job, brother. You know what I'm saying? Keep going, and we'll see how it goes, man. We'll evaluate at the end of his administration.
Exactly. We can always say do more, do what you can, and keep our community.
And that's every president, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. All right, man. Let's get to let's get to this
the
dessert.
Nonsense. Okay.
Let's get to this dessert, man. You know what I'm saying, man? I've been waiting for this all day, man. Ever since we talked about it in pre-production, man. The greatest who, and I want you all to comment on this. Who is the greatest black athlete of all time, top 5? Man, this is a tough one right here, man. This is tough. This is exciting stuff for me, man.
Is it really tough?
Yes, sir.
It might be tough for you, but okay.
Okay, man. Jay, well, I'm gonna step back, man.
No. This is your segment, bro. Huh? This is your segment. So
how we doing?
I don't know. You tell me. Every time I asked you at the beginning of the show, I said, "Yo, how are we determining what's the criteria?"
It's 5 right here.
Everybody got a list. They have at least some type of criteria.
It's 5.
So
y'all give us y'all top 5. I'm gonna tell you who my number 5 is.
I would like to do this. Let's go 5, like each number.
Okay.
Not the whole 5. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Is
number 5. Serena Williams.
Okay.
Is my number 5. Why? 7 Wimbledon titles. I think she won 6 U.S. Opens. 23 Grand Slam titles overall. But it's not just about what you do in the black court or on the court. It's the fact that tennis is a non-traditional sport for the African American community, and she dominated for years. I think she spent 186 weeks at number 1 in the world as a female tennis player, number 1 women's female tennis player in the world, And, man, I just think that is just incredible. Zero precedent for someone like Miss Williams.
All right, my number 5. Listen, let me say this about my
Don't
criteria.
use your voice like that, man. You can't act like mine wasn't hitting on nothing. Okay, man. My number 5 is out. Man, you have to ignore me, man. But go ahead, man.
Oh, you know what? All right, I'm sorry. Let's have some commentary about Serena. I love Serena. Serena's in my top 5.
What?
Yeah, Serena's definitely in the top 5. You can't. That's why I'm so trying to figure out the criteria. But it sounds like you hit it. I did mine off how successful they were in their sport, whether they their impact in that sport, and then also kind of off the field, like the impact and as far as.
Okay.
All right, my number 5 is Jesse Owens.
What?
Yes, Jesse Owens. Get your laugh off. Dog, hey man. First of all, Jesse Owens. Let me tell you something.
Jesse Owens won 1 or 2 races.
Jesse Owens won in 1936 in Berlin, Germany.
36. Okay.
Won the 100 meters, the long jump, 200 meters, and 4x100 meter relay.
Good stuff.
He was the most successful athlete at the games, and as a Black American male, was credited with single-handedly crushing Hitler's myth of Aryan supremacy. Let me tell you something, dog. If you got to go out and compete and prove that Aryan supremacy doesn't reign supreme over another race, dog, you won. You deserve to be in the top 5. I'm sorry, dog.
Man, this ain't the greatest social impact,
dog.
Man. This is the greatest athlete of all time.
Jesse Owens was a great athlete.
Man, okay, man.
That's my 5. All right, you got Serena in yours at 5. I don't know who coming above that, but go ahead.
I mean, who gave Jesse Owens? Was Lincoln gave him his medals and all that? 36.
Lincoln was gone by then.
Okay. All right, number 4.
All right, number 4.
I know y'all gonna agree with this because nobody can contest this right here.
I know y'all gonna agree with this. Ooh, must be the money.
Time. Deion Sanders. Let me tell you this, man. If for the folks who don't remember it, this brother played 9 years of Major League Baseball.
He did.
Batted .533 in the World Series. The only athlete in history to play in a World Series and a Super Bowl. Period. Man, you say all that before you even get to what he did in football. He shut off half the field.
He did.
Was a defensive player of the year. Arguably, and by most, considered to be the top cornerback in the history of the game. This brother was a 2-sport dynamo. And just to me, that is so unique, but it's so different. I think one time he got an interception and hit a home run on the same day.
Yeah.
Come on, y'all. Come on. What we talking about here? Deion Sanders, number 4.
Deion Sanders definitely was, in my opinion, one of the most talented people to walk planet Earth. Him and Bo Jackson, man, I don't know if you ever seen the 30 for 30 on Bo Jackson, man. They were talking about stuff when he was a kid that was just remember when you were young, like you would hear about people, or you have these legends that you would hear about, an athlete or whatever. That's how it was for Deion and Bo Jackson, man. They were just super talented. And in prime time is on, time must be the mine. But, man, my number 4 is Muhammad Ali, the greatest of all time. Dog, I mean, bruh, he won the championship at 22, got banned from boxing. Matter of fact, it was black and white TV when he first won the belt against Sonny Liston. Then, dog, he gets banned. He almost goes to prison. All that stuff happens. And then, man, he didn't win the belt again at 10 years later at 32. Dog. And then that continued his second reign. Had all wars with Ken Norton, what's my man, George Foreman. Of course, the 3 bouts with my man, Joe Frazier. When you start talking about his impact in the ring, what he was able to do successfully. And that's the thing with me when we talking about these types of rankings. It's, okay, what did you do? Yeah, you were talented. You were super talented, but how much did you win? And then when we start talking about a sport like this, like he was the man when it was in black and white, bro. Yeah. So I gotta go number 4. I gotta go Muhammad Ali. And I ain't even go into all the social justice stuff.
When he beat Foreman, man, that was the most incredible 2 or 3 minutes in boxing history, man. I mean, I just could not.
You ain't laughing at that one?
No. Well, I disagree with it.
Muhammad ain't in your top 5?
Of course he's in my top 5. Right, I agree with your placement.
You got him a little high. Okay,
yeah,
all right, cool. We dancing around each other. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
all right.
We dancing.
What we got?
Number 3. Boy, this one hurt right here.
It's gonna get sticky.
Number 3, this hurt me, man. This didn't go down good. You know what I'm saying? It's like they said Putin trying to take over Ukraine. It's like eating a bear eating a porcupine. That's how I feel right now. But I gotta go ahead and admit this. My number 3, boy, y'all, if y'all know me, y'all know this is hard for me to say. It's Tiger Woods.
Oh, okay.
My number 3 is Tiger Woods.
Mm-hmm.
What he has done has taken, again, a non-traditional sport for our community.
Why are you talking like that?
And he's come in here, and he's done a great job, and he's dominated the sport. He's done well. And even today at today's Masters, I think
on
he
one
shot
leg.
71 on one leg after multiple leg fractures, 19 back surgeries. He's just incredible.
Navy SEAL training.
So my number 3 is Tiger Woods.
Well, you don't have to sound so disappointed about that, man.
I have to admit it.
My number 3, I'm gonna go with your number 5 is Serena Williams.
Okay.
With a caveat of Venus. Serena was the one that, she took off. She's dominated for almost 20 years. But, man, Venus was the one that kind of broke into the industry. She took a lot of the heat, a lot of the arrows. But, man, Serena is just dominated. She got I don't know how many Grand Slams. She was number 1 for, 319 weeks for one time. It's just crazy. You got to Google and Wikipedia her accolades. Incredible. As a woman in a white dominated sport, she was a baby, basically. She was 14, 15 years old when she went pro. Man, all of that type of stuff, man. And then be as good as she is for this long. I'm sorry, man. Serena, I'll give her top 3.
All right. So we now down to the top 2.
Yeah, what's your top 2, man? What's your number 2?
Number 2.
Don't say it.
Y'all don't get mad at me
Don't
out there.
say
Y'all
it.
know
Don't say it.
This is fam right
Don't
here. We love him
say
to
it.
death.
Don't do it to yourself.
You know what I'm saying, man? I spent 7 long years in Carolina, man.
Okay.
And I think 3 or 2.5 was with him.
Mm-hmm.
And just an absolutely fantastic, marvelous, almost inhuman player. Michael Jordan is my number 2. And there are no comparisons in my mind between Michael Jordan and LeBron James. LeBron James, to me, just forget that. Stephen A. said it, I think, yesterday. That comparison is over. Michael Jordan transcends sports. He elevated sports economics. He, believe it or not, does not get enough credit for how he carried himself with the weight that he carried off the court in terms of the pressure. He had maybe one issue, over time, which was that gambling thing they brought up. But overall, Mike has always been a consistent model of what you want the prototypical, unique, one-of-a-kind athlete to be. But then it is rare that you have someone whose exploits on the court are as legendary as the myth. I mean, if you go back and look at Michael Jordan's film and his highlights, it's almost unbelievable. No one plays like Mike now. There's never been anybody else to play like him. It's been very interesting. So,
yeah,
he is my number 2 and a solid number 2 at that.
Graham, I need your help for a sec. Can you pull up to the mic for a sec?
All
right.
No,
So,
here we go, man.
so,
Here we go.
you know,
we got Derek Whittenberg or something. Come on, man.
So first of all, man, that's that one. Yeah, you right here. You know too. That's why we're working on that. Put your headphones on so you can hear us real good, man.
Please don't say
So I didn't need Wikipedia to talk about the number 2 greatest athlete of all time. The second greatest athlete of all time is Eldrick Woods. Tiger Woods. Like, if we get off the hate train, get off the hating, the playing, the memes, and all that kind of stuff. When we stop and we go and we say, let's put it back from the table. Tiger Woods. Man, I remember being in college. Matter of fact, I'm 40. I'm in my 40s right now. I remember being in college, and my good friend Bird, my roommate, and he was talking about Tiger Woods, bro. Like, they already saying, this was in 97. They was like, he already about to be one of the greatest golfers of all time. How many how many majors has he won? 15. Dog, $1 billion.
Say it all loud like that.
$1 billion athlete. That mug guy. When you talking about wouldn't no black people in the sport like that, dog, the dude revolutionized the game as how old was he? He was like fresh out of Stanford. How old was he?
He was like 19.
Dog, it is not even close. Dog, the impact from when you look at number one, how young he was. He won the Masters in 96? 97. Like that's the granddaddy of them all. You talk about how much money from an endorsement standpoint he's made, how people regarded him. I ain't talking about 2009 when he got hurt. Well, I mean, when his wife beat him up. I'm talking about even 10 years before that. They was already talking about that man being the greatest golfer. Man, they had been playing golf for about 300 years by that time, dog. Like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, man. I give the Tiger a lot of, you know what I'm saying, flack for his decision making off the golf course. But when he was doing it and doing it at his prime, unquestionably the second greatest golfer of all time. Graham, anything you'd like to add to that?
No, you pretty much summed it up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That was it?
That's good enough right there.
Okay, all right.
I mean, man, y'all.
What's your number one, man? What's your number one? You
ain't
got
Tiger Woods for the last 30 minutes. I mean, I almost fell asleep over here, man. And you got Graham over here, Graham, the head of the Tiger Woods TW fan club and all that.
Dog.
Tiger Woods is, he is great, man. But you scaring me now. Cause you got Tiger Woods at 2, man. That's a little too high.
This is your joint. You want to go last? You want me to go?
I'm gonna let you go, and then I'm gonna bring it in after that, man.
I mean, of course.
Since you messed up with Tiger Woods.
Dog, of course it gotta be Michael Jeffrey Jordan. Dog, listen, let me tell you something, man. Hey, one thing about me when it comes to Michael Jordan, there ain't but 2 people that has walked Earth that have been able to master themselves better than Michael Jordan, and that's Jesus and Bruce Lee. Let me tell you something, dog. Michael Jordan, like, number one as an athlete. I mean, Ken, when he first came in the league, it was like he wasn't even real. Like, his athleticism, like, the name of his video was Come Fly With Me. Like, man, it was just beautiful to see him. I remember being a kid, seeing him just jump through the air, doing all the kind of crazy dunks, man. And then when you go into his success as a winner, when you talk about clutch, when you talk about winning, when you talk about being the best, he is the prototype. When you talk about sports, he is the prototype as far as winning and success and clutch. That's why I don't even put LeBron in that category with him, not to, defame him or, make him look less than, but it's just not even fair, dog. And then you made great points. As far as a sports marketing standpoint, I'm in the advertising marketing business and all of that. He transformed and revolutionized that, not only for the black athlete, but just for sports marketing business on its own. So I could go on and on and on. And the last thing I will say is this, dog, it's been 30 years. And we paying twice as much for the same shoes that came out 30 years ago, just because of how great he was as an athlete. Number one, greatest of all time, ESPN, when they did their 100 century of athletes, they ranked him number one, so I'm in good company.
All right. So now we go to number 1.
Yeah, man, don't try like you. It's like that was good.
Not even close, man.
That was good.
My number one athlete of all time is Chris Paul. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, man. No, Chris Paul is good, though. Chris Paul is good.
You needed something to break up there.
Yeah,
You needed to throw a little buffer in there.
Yeah, y'all got quiet on that.
Was he born in the 20s? Like, what Chris Paul is doing?
My number one of all time is undeniable. Because he's the greatest of all time. Muhammad Ali, man. He's the only one that could keep Michael Jordan out of that number one slot. And the reason is because not only was he the greatest in terms of what he did in that ring, and I'm talking about, man, it is undeniable because if you ever go back and look at those Frazier Ali bouts, no, this wasn't boxing matches. This was life and death. I mean, even Ali said at one time, this is the closest thing I could ever imagine in terms of coming close to dying. He gave it his all in the ring. But when he beat George Foreman, George Foreman was considered to be almost like an alien.
Yeah.
Unbeatable, scary, terrifying. And when he beat George Foreman, it just, to me, that epitomizes athletics. You can't get any higher than that when you go up against an undeniable force where even your own, the folks on your team are terrified. And you step into that ring mano a mano, and you go up against that beast, and you prevail under the most difficult of circumstances. But Muhammad Ali also, man, ended up becoming a conscientious objector. Stayed away from boxing because he was being punished for standing up for what he believed, and came back and was still a champion when he came back after years of being unable to box. Just to me, he's the greatest of all times in the court or in the ring and then outside of the ring for what he did for the community. And even when he was older, he still represented something so special to the African-American community and the world in terms of what he sacrificed and how he carried himself. So it takes that bundle, that undeniable, unique, historic bundle to displace or keep Michael Jordan from being number one. Mm-hmm.
You know, my response to that is, I remember, you know, I mentioned just a minute ago, I remember watching ESPN's or Sports Center's, I think they called it 100, whatever, it was like 100 athletes that they've ranked. And I remember like that Sunday, and everybody was waiting to see who was going to be one or two. Was it going to be Michael Jordan one, or was it going to be Muhammad Ali one? And I remember just looking, and they said the second most greatest athlete of all time. And they waited, and that graphic, you know how them slow graphics go in 90, they just, and Muhammad Ali came up. And so, listen, I wasn't there. I don't totally get it as far as why people feel like what he went through and what he sacrificed, and also him calling himself the greatest, like why all of that translated into him actually being the greatest. So I have to give that up, but I do respect the fact that other, like the people who spend way more time on this than you and I, still have a hard time with those that 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. With the Foreman fight, there were people telling Ali not to fight Foreman because they thought Foreman was going to kill him in the ring.
Yeah.
Now, look, if you talk about a champion and you going into something and you might, there people telling you might die, and you go in and not only do you not die, you win. Oh no, man, that's what did it for me. Yeah. So your number one is
Michael Jordan. I mean, Larry Bird called him Jesus and sneakers or something like that. Right. Listen, I mean, hey, it's just, to me, it's not even close. When you know, but again, I can't hate on anything that you say about Muhammad Ali.
All right, can we do an honorable mention?
Yeah, sure.
I'm gonna give you an honorable mention that people don't seem to really. I don't know if they don't like him or.
You wasted a spot on Deion. That's my man, though.
No, man, Deion, man. 9 years in baseball and all-star in football. I mean, anyway.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Man, look, there's somebody kind of feel like people don't like him. I don't know why they don't give him the credit he deserves.
Mm-hmm. Trying to think.
I'm going to throw off, man. Carl Lewis. Carl Lewis won gold medals in 4 different Olympics, man.
Carl was the man.
Carl Lewis won gold medals for the 100 meters, the 200 meters, the long jump, and the 4x100, y'all.
Yeah, he did.
That is, if he had a different personality. And let me just be real with you. I think he would be viewed differently by the sports community and would be higher on most lists because his accomplishments are so almost scary. Like you don't naturally put, like say the person who's gonna win the long jump at the Olympics also gonna win the 100.
Yeah.
Now you might say the person who's gonna win the 100 might win the 200. This dude was, and he did it for forever. It's incredible. It took your boy jumping out the box to beat him in one Olympics, but it's like this guy was incredible, man. So I don't think Carl Lewis gets the respect that he should get, and I think he would be in my second 5, maybe as long as I didn't get caught up in kind of how people see his personality. And then that when he sang the national anthem, that really. That pulled him down. If he's number 6 on your list, now he's number 8.
Yeah, that was a bad night. That's one of them nights he was like, you want to get away? Like, he was ready to get away that
night. He could evaporate right out there, boy.
Yeah, I don't know what it is about Carl, man. Carl was the man when I was a kid. Like, I mean, he was the man. And I don't know if just in that time.
He didn't even get no endorsements in the man. People just did. He got some. Yeah. Like, it wasn't like.
He wasn't as big as
I'm going to go buy me some calls, some call track shoes. Nobody, he didn't turn into
got
that.
Them calls, bro.
Them calls, man. Yeah, them CLs. Nobody, it didn't work out like that. I think he's just an underappreciated athlete. Props to Carl Lewis for all that you did for so long, my man.
Yeah. No, I don't think I have an honorable. Well, for me, maybe LeBron. I don't know. I don't really have a. Y'all shake your head. See. Y'all got this disrespect, man. LeBron, dog.
Not in no man.
I ain't honorable mention for top 5.
Man, come on, man.
Okay, I ain't even gonna argue that. I'm just, you put me on the spot.
Dude, under 500 this year, man. It's bad time to be trying to bring LeBron up, man. This dude under 500, man. He averaging 40 points a game.
So it's Serena.
Teammates don't like him. Lakers don't like him. The backup front office don't like him.
So if Deion on the list, LeBron can't be on the list.
Oh no, sir. No,
man,
sir. No
are you crazy?
No comparison.
Hell not.
Has LeBron ever played another sport besides tennis?
Oh yeah, you're right.
I mean, come on, you got dude basically
Deion is, man. I can't front, man.
2 sports.
Listen, I had Hirachis. I had both pair. I had the low top ones with the purple and gold in those joints, and I had the high top black ones.
And don't forget Deion's contribution now to the community at Jackson State.
Yeah.
And bringing HBCUs up now, man. He doing it off the field now.
Awesome job. I've watched all the content, the show Coach Prime. I've seen, and it's been a ripple effect. You mentioned that. You talk about, what's my man, his name? Eddie George went to Tennessee State. Hugh Jackson went to Grambling State. And now, what's your boy that used to play with LeBron? Mo Williams.
Yeah.
Now he the head coach of basketball at Jackson State. So it's cool to see what's happening.
LeBron and praying for Deion because he's had a recent surgery. I think he announced. So prayers for him.
Yeah.
But man, really excited. I got one last one I want to mention, man, like a little light honorable mention.
Man, I don't like how you're doing this right now, man. First of all, you laughed at LeBron James, a $1 billion athlete, man. Man been playing for 50 years. He's been playing for 20 years. He's still averaging 30 points.
Can't pay your way on this list, man. Can't pay your way on this list.
Go ahead.
Last one I want to mention before we get out of here, y'all, is you got to give your boy Jim Brown. Man, if you ever go back and look at Jim Brown, what he did, man, Jim Brown was off the... Do you know that Jim Brown was a lacrosse All-American?
Man, in 1953, man, he was out there playing with people 100 pounds.
Man, this dude was...
and they were all white.
He could have been an All-American.
Don't try to ignore me right now.
Lacrosse. Yeah. Man, I think the dude played tennis or something too, but man, he was that dude was incredible, man.
Man, beautiful afro and mustache. He was great at football, but no, he is not making no honorable mention on the top 5. The man played. He stopped playing football. He was Barry Sanders before Barry Sanders. He stopped playing in 64 or something like that.
Nothing else to accomplish, man. He already
because he was playing with kids. So he like, man, I'm tired of running over these little kids every week, man. And hey, for a pack of cigarettes, I ain't getting paid no money. I'm about to go to work in Hollywood.
Man, this is what we deal with in the black court.
And
man.
I gotta know
this man right here hating on Jim Brown, man. Y'all comment about that on the thing, man.
I'm tired of y'all older guys coming in with these Negro spirituals as it relates to these sports figures, man. Come on, dog.
Come on, man. Look. Do y'all remember early in this episode when this dude brought up Jesse Owens? And he jumping on me, World War II athlete, and he saying I'm tripping, bring up Jim Brown. So we gonna have to get out of here, y'all. This dude, come on, man, we have to get out of here.
Hey, man. Nah, we get that, dog. Man. You ain't give me no criteria, dog. You just said the greatest of all time, man.
Yeah, man. We getting out of here, man.
Oh, well, all right.
President Garfield handling Jesse Owens his awards and everything. He said I'm going back. We good, man.
Okay, man. All right, man. That's it?
That's it, man. Hey, man, Jay, man.
Yes,
hey,
sir.
Love you, brother.
Love you too, man.
Great night, man, in the black court, man. Had a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. Y'all tell us who your top 5 is. I know y'all all gonna say Ali is number 1. That's how we do it.
Yeah, if you over 50, you gonna say Ali, man. Comment below the thing, like, subscribe. We'll see y'all next week.
All right, peace, y'all.